Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Women's Growth Series. I'm Corey Meredith. I am AIME's Digital Marketing Manager, and I am so excited to be here today with the incredible Nike Ojo. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Nike, I'm sure that everyone in this community already knows you, but for the people who may be a little bit newer, I'm just going to toss it to you, and you can give a little bit of background about yourself before we dive into our conversation here today.
Okay. My name is Nike Ojo. I'm broker owner, Discovered Homes, out here in Sugar Land, Texas. I've been in the business now going on 19 years alongside my husband. Came into business when my husband couldn't get good service from his loan originator, and then it used to be loan officer. So I felt that the customers needed a better service. So I decided to go into the business, took the classes, and learned on my own from ground up to where I am today. So I'm super grateful to be here.
We are so excited to have you. And as Nike said, she really has been a huge impact in her community. And we see that all the time on social media. Her customers seem to love her. The community seems to love her. We love her here in the community. And that's kind of what we're talking about here today. Nike is one of the people who truly goes above and beyond for her clients. And I think that's really why brokers are better, because we care about the customer. We want to build those relationships, and we want to make a positive impact within the communities that we live in. So I'm going to quickly share my screen, and I'm going to read through a post that Nike posted just a couple days ago, and kind of the reason which sparked this whole Facebook Live idea. So 1 second here. So Nike wrote, "Today I closed a loan for a borrower I've been working with for the last 2 years. At the beginning, his credit was not where it needed to be, so we started working on it. We ensured he stayed on track and savings towards his down payment and followed all instructions that were given to him. Today, he signed and took possession of his home. I am super excited for his family. They never gave up while he waited. He told me today that my post on social media continue to encourage him to stay on track. This is to encourage anyone waiting for a day like this. Just because you cannot buy that home today does not mean you cannot buy that home at all. Work with your real estate professionals and follow their instructions closely so you can achieve your dream of homeownership." And honestly, there's really not much else to add there. That is just an incredible story. And I want you to tell me a little bit more about how that all came to fruition.
Okay, thank you very much, Corey. And this is a huge opportunity, and I'm also grateful. I'm so grateful to you guys for the support, for the community. I'm super grateful to be here. So this client, we go to the same church, and I'm from Nigeria, and most Nigerians, when they come into the country, they don't know where to start from. They don't know anything about credit. They don't know anything about ownership, so they trust people like us to guide them. So he came to me, and at the time he came, he didn't even have anything. So all he wanted was to buy a house. He follows me on social media, so he sees my post. So we had a conversation, and when I pulled his credit, at that time, his credit was completely zero. So I encouraged him to open a credit account, which he did, and then he just went on spending spree. He just went on spending on those credit cards. So then I told him after about 6 months to come back to me so that we can take a look again and see what his credit looks like. So he did came back, and when I looked at his credit, the credit actually was not where it needed to be. And that was because he maxed out the little secured card that he got. And then I also educated him at that point and said, look, you cannot do this if you want to buy a home. And then so he continued to stay on track. And also during that time, he was working a temporary job. He didn't have a full-time job. And so I also counseled him that he would need to get a full-time job that would actually qualify him. So he knows what he wanted, and I know how much would qualify him to buy that home. So I advised him that once you are starting making X amount of dollar, just come back and then we can take a look at it again. But make sure you don't go crazy spending on your credit cards. And then he followed the instructions. And along the line, I think he forgot to pay a bill, or I don't know what happened. There was a collection account reported on his credit by, I think it was Amazon or something. So while he waited, I would call him and pull his credit. And then, so when I saw that collection account, I told him, okay, you need to go ahead and make this payment. So all along, while he waited, he was following all of the instructions. Sometimes, he would stray away from the instructions, but the moment I bring him back to track, then he will follow that instructions. And then, so that's how we were able to finally get him to qualify and buy his own home.
It truly is an incredible story. You think of just the idea of being a homeowner, like that is the American dream, right? And coming all the way from Nigeria, that is just so heartfelt. So kind of take me through that closing day. What did that mean to you?
It was a sense of fulfillment because I know that this is something that he has really, really wanted. Where he rents right now, he pays $1,500 a month. And with this new home, his mortgage is less what he's paying right now at his rental place. So I think his payment is about $1,450, a 4-bedroom home with a nice yard, and it's so exciting and it's truly fulfilling for me. So on the closing date, he was actually not here. He was sent out to work in, I think, Indiana or somewhere like that. So we closed with a notary, but
Okay.
he's gonna be here tomorrow. He's gonna be in Houston, and he's coming to the office because he wants to hold the closing key. He wants the yard sign in front of his home. So I already scheduled that to be the sign to be placed on his yard tomorrow morning. So by the time he wakes up, the sign is already there. So he wants everything. So he'll be at my office tomorrow to hold the key, take pictures, and give his review.
I love that so much. And I'm so excited to see all of those pictures on social media. It's going to be amazing. But you said so many things in the last couple of minutes that I just need to dive into. And one of those was kind of the importance of social media. This gentleman wouldn't have even known what you did for a living if you weren't active on social media. So why do you think it's important to just kind of be active, but have that balance of yourself as who you are and building your own personal brand, but also incorporating the facets of your business and how you're able to help more home buyers, just in general, get that home?
Okay, so personally, I love to take pictures. I love taking pictures, and it was actually my son that encouraged me to post on Instagram because I was only on Facebook. But then one thing I realized is that people want to work with who they can connect with. And I know that I have this personality that people always want to get to know me. And so I don't mind showcasing, who I am, just to be transparent to, to the people that follows me. And, I've had greater success. I mean, great success. Let me not say greater because I'm still a work in progress. I've had great success with social media posts. And I always encourage every business person to be out there because right now, that's where the world is headed to. You've got to show yourself. You don't have to be perfect. I see other brokers that are doing way better than I am, but you don't have to be perfect. You just have to start somewhere and gradually improve on yourself. I was watching the YouTube video you posted the other day on the Insta stories, and that actually I learned one or two things from there because I wasn't really doing everything that you had highlighted in the video. So it's really important, even though we want to close, even though we want to make the money, but it is also important to be out there because people are always going to be looking for you. I've had a lot of people. There's not a single week that I don't get like 2 or 3 leads from Instagram posts. And even yesterday, I had a client came into my office and said, "I've been following you." Actually, two clients. One of them moved into Dallas, and she said she's been following me for about 2 years. She sees everything that I do, and then so when she moved to Dallas, that the first person she called was me. So she called me, and now they went under a contract yesterday. So I'll be closing that one pretty soon. I have another one that came in yesterday. She said she's been following me. She sees what I post, and she hear about me in the community. She hear about what I do in the community, and she doesn't want anybody to close her loan, but me. And then there's so many. I have clients from maybe another state that would call and say, your post actually encouraged us to go buy a home, and that's why, because we never knew we could do it. Like I said, I'm from Nigeria. And most of my community, they don't know how to go about buying a home. So it doesn't matter if I don't close their loan, as long as they achieve that dream. That makes me happy.
Yes, I love that so much. And you really are your true authentic self. And that's really all people want you to be. So I think that a lot of people do get scared by the video aspect, or what am I going to post? I don't have content. They think too much about it. And it's truly just be yourself. And I think you really do a really, really good job at that. So round of applause. And also thank you
Thank
for
you.
utilizing AIME services and
Thank
tuning
you.
into our webinars and posting our pictures. It's much appreciated. But to kind of get back on track here a little bit, again, a lot of great things that you've been saying. And one of these things is kind of creating that lifelong customer testimonial. When you close 50 loans a month, that's amazing. You're doing great business. But at the end of the day, your customers want a 50. When you close a loan with somebody that you've been working with for 2 years, who really had no chance of getting that home when you first started, that person is a testimonial and a referral source for life. So what is the biggest difference that you've seen with these two types of clients?
Okay, so like he had actually referred two other clients to me, and before closing, he actually went on my Google page to submit a review, and you know, because I know the importance of homeownership, and putting that client in a home, in an affordable home, okay, where his mortgage payment it's lower than what he's currently paying. Because what I tell clients is, if you are renting a home right now, you're actually paying a mortgage, just not your mortgage. You're paying somebody else's mortgage. And so it is truly fulfilling to see that this client actually was able to achieve this dream, even though it took us, a long time to get there. But at least he was able to make it happen. We were able to make it happen because it's actually obviously a teamwork, and we're able to make this happen for them. And so it's truly amazing.
Yeah. What do you think the difference would have been if he went to like a retail bank to try to do the same thing?
Oh, nobody is going to listen to him. They're just going to tell him he's not qualified. I see a lot of that every day. Every day, I see a lot of clients that would go to the retail banks and they would tell them it's not possible. They cannot make it happen for them. But then when they come here, we sit down and see why is it that you cannot make it. And then we just tell them, okay, here are the guidelines. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to follow. And once they do that, we'll put them in a home.
Yep. Brokers are better. And that's just
Yes.
one other reason why. So throughout this entire process, 2-year process is obviously a pretty long time. You mentioned that you guys went to church together, but how consistently would you advise a broker who's working with a particular client, a similar client, to follow up and make sure that that client is staying on track with the outline that you've provided?
So maybe I would say every 90 days. Well, right now, because I use the Shape CRM, so when I have clients that I need to nurture, I put them in the system so they get messages, that keeps them on track. But I would say maybe every 90 days, just check in with them and say, hey, I hope you're still on track. Let me know if you have any questions or all of that. And then so on this client also, like what he told me was that my social media posts actually helped him to stay on track. because every time I post and he sees someone, especially some of our church members as well, or somebody he knew, when he sees them close and they hold their closing key, that he keeps on thinking in his head that, you know what, I have to hold this key. I have to buy my own house. So those social media posts really, really helped him to stay on track as well. And that was what he said.
That's awesome. And I think that we don't even realize the impact that we're making when we do post those things on social media. And, you know, you're probably not going to get a comment that says, oh my gosh, this post really makes me want to buy a house. But if you're triggering that thought in someone's mind, that's a win just in general. So don't get discouraged for everyone out there. If you don't see a lot of reception or engagement on your post initially, just be consistent. You never know who you're going to alter and what you're going to bring to the table just by simply doing your job and being yourself. So I think that's really an impactful piece of advice as well. And just to touch back on your generosity, Nike, we had a pre-call talking about this a little bit too. And you told me that you pulled credit for this borrower 3 times on 3 separate occasions just to make sure that he was adding up and his timelines were being met, and that came out of your pocket. So can you tell us a little bit about that and kind of like the customer care that you had for him in that regard?
So during the process, I'll pull his credit and I'll run the credit expert. I use one of the vendors, I'm not gonna name names. So I'll do the credit expert and to see, you know, what he needs to do. And each time, this would cost me an average of maybe $80 or more. And I never took any money from him. So, and during the process, so if it's not where he needs to be, then he'll come back, then we'll pull the credit again. So during that period, yeah, I did incur some expenses, but you know, it's just part of doing the business, and
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah. And to touch back too on, you know, there's this conception, right? We want to crush it, right? We want to meet our goals. We want to close all these amount of loans a month, but we have to rely on our laurels. We have to think of the customer and we have to better the people living in our community. And you did just that. So where do you kind of find that balance of really crushing your goals and making your business flourish, but also taking the time and energy to invest in people who need a little bit of extra help?
So again, you know, I've been listening to a lot of fabulous women in the group, and you know, so for me, what I decided to do was to block out like between most times I get to the office like maybe 8 o'clock in the morning. My kids are grown, so I don't have any little kids. So get to work like sometimes 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. So from when I get to work to noon, it's when I actually block out time to talk to these clients. So like if I have anyone that needs help or anyone that needs some guidance, this is the time that I really talk to them and follow up with them. And then so after that, of course, I have 2 great assistants that help me with some of my my administrative work. And so once that time is over, then I jump into, well, let's get this done. Let's submit. Initially, when we come in the morning, when my assistant comes in the morning, we go over what we need to do today. So while I am working with the clients, and they work with the files that we have in progress, and they've gotten so they've been doing so well, you know, keeping up with clients and all of that. So as a business owner, you know, we wear so many hats, so you just have to know how to, the way I balance up my work is going to be different from somebody else. So you just have to find out what works well for you, and then just make sure you do it.
Follow through. It's huge.
Yeah.
But also too, I think there's an element of this, of the importance of not making this particular client feel less than. So can you touch a little bit upon that and how you kind of navigate the waters of making them feel just as, I wouldn't say important, but just as, you know, this process is normal as usual in comparison to your other clients who may have better credit scores?
So for him, most of the time, because he follows me on social media, so most of the time, even up until sometimes he sent me messages around 11 o'clock, 11:30 at night. I answer his calls whenever I'm awake. If I get any email, or it doesn't matter what time of the day, I'll make sure I respond to that. And so this, he said he actually felt he was the only person I was working with. So just being available to them. And then because we go to the same church, each time I see him, I look at him, I was like, okay, are you staying on track? So all of that. So I'm always there for him to see me. And then I'm always responsive to his questions, and also responsive to, just whatever it is that he knows that he can always reach me. And I think that's really important, to keeping those clients, and knowing that whatever it is that they need, you're always available to attend to them.
Absolutely. And to go back on that story just a bit, you mentioned that he went on a spending spree or so. When you found that in your in his credit report, how were you able to confront him without saying, "Why did you blow this amount of money?"
Yeah. So, and again, he's a bit younger than I am, and so in our community, you can talk to them like your own sibling, or like your own. That's just the way we were raised up. So just because we're not born of the same parent doesn't mean you can't scold them or something. I mean, nicely. So,
Yes.
and so when I saw that, I was like, what? So the moment he heard what, it was like, uh-oh. I was like, what did you do? Okay, I need you to go now and pay this off right now. So, and that was after I had run that credit expert on his credit. So I knew exactly what he needed to do. And then I told him to go make the payment. So immediately he made the payment. So I told him, okay, since the payment is made now, we have to wait for that to be reported to the bureau so that your scores can go up. And so that was how we got that done.
I think even when we talk about credit in general, and when people don't have necessarily the highest of credit, especially in the super tight inventory market that we have right now, it's really harder for them to beat out the competition. But we refer to it as bruise credit instead of bad credit, right? We just want them to feel like they can be better. And this isn't
Yeah.
this isn't a roadblock. It's just a little bit of a speed bump. That's all.
Yeah, it is. And just because you can't do it now doesn't mean you can't do it at all. You just need to stay focused, do exactly what your real estate professional told you to do, and then you can achieve that dream.
Awesome. I love that. And if you had to give one piece of advice to the brokers who are watching this, the lenders who are watching this, anybody who's watching this that's in our group right now, when working with customers such as this, where it might be a little bit of a longer process, it might be a little bit more of a hand holding, why would you encourage them to take on customers and this challenge?
I'm really passionate about what I do, and I love to see people, because I've seen results. I've seen a lot of families go from not having any to having multiple properties. So this is really something that I'm really, really passionate about. So what I would advise others that may be watching is just hold their hands, and while they are waiting for that moment to happen, you will get clients from this client. This particular person, I actually got 2 referrals from him while he was waiting. Okay. And the word of mouth is enough. I mean, is more than enough for me. So I would suggest to brokers to just continue what we know how to do best, and that is holding these clients' hands, because they don't know any better. They trust us to guide them. And so just because somebody doesn't qualify today doesn't mean that that person is not going to qualify, the next month, or 90 days from now, or 6 months from now. But just staying in constantly in touch with them, and then just providing guidance. I think it's something that we need to do continuously so that we can get more clients. And in the process, we're gonna get those clients that we're looking for.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. And just one more question before we kind of wrap up here, but what's the major difference when you close a traditional loan with a traditional client versus a loan like this? How does that make you feel?
I just can't. I don't know. I can't describe the feeling. It's just it's truly humbling for me, and especially when I close people like this, when I close millennials, when I close single moms that think they cannot buy a house, it's truly, 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 truly humbling for me. And that's why I go to most of my closings, except if the closing is way maybe like 2 or 3 hours away. If the closing is about an hour and 30 minutes away, I'll make sure I go to that closing because I want to see the expression on their faces. And so it's fulfilling. It's just it just makes me feel good to help someone to achieve their dreams of homeownership. And because a lot of people think, oh, it's too hard, I can't do it. But then now here we are at the finish line, and so it's truly, truly humbling that they chose me to be a part of their journey. So it's amazing.
That's awesome. I love that so much. You're one of the most kind, generous people I have ever encountered. So it's been a true honor to speak with
Thank
you
you.
today. Do you
Thank
have
you.
anything else that you want to say before we close out here?
Well, I would like to say thank you to everyone in the AIME community, especially WMN. Okay, I know I'm partial, so I'm really, really grateful for this platform. I'm grateful for the tribe that we have built. I'm grateful for all of the amazing women in that group. I'm grateful for this community. I'm grateful for Anthony Casa for bringing up AIM. I'm grateful for uh, all of the leaders, all of you guys at the office. We're truly, truly grateful. Let's just continue to stay out there, stay positive, help each other out. Nobody knows it all. When somebody posts questions, I love to post questions in the WMN group. We're always there to help somebody. Somebody's always there to answer your question. Doesn't matter what time of day. And that's what true support is. And you guys are amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you all so much.
Well put. We greatly appreciate you as well. To everyone watching, thank you. I hope you have a great Monday, and here's to helping more people become homeowners.